stay free, and enjoy more of what the world has to offer in this action one, because this is where most human beings screw the pooch.
So a little one-person trampoline, very
I screen shared it. Like, there's no excuse. Like, phone numbers are just out there. You just got to pick up the phone, smile, and dial. So. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Terry Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercises to help make you the absolute best entrepreneur you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. Good morning, everyone. We're starting late. I had computer issues. This is definitely, technology can be one of the more frustrating things, but it's like, without it, what the heck would we do? And it kind of just shows how easy it is to get impatient with certain things with, say, my computer. So I use my phone as a webcam, and through Apple products, it's called Continuity Camera. And sometimes it's when you have an update pending, it can be a little buggy. So I had to reset it, and then I had to do these other updates, yada, yada. Anyway, long story short, 10 minutes late to the party, getting through the technological issues was something that I did. Before we get into today's show topic about Buddhism and how the mind's related to water, which I'm excited to talk about. Whenever you have a delay like this, whenever you're put on pause for just a couple minutes, because reality, it's only a couple minutes. So say next time you're in traffic, or next time you got to do an update on your computer, or you got to do something that's a pain in your ass, I like to take the time to write out just a few things that I'm grateful for. And I wrote down that I am grateful for technology. Without these products, I would not be able to go live. Without these products, I wouldn't have connected. And on to my next one. I am grateful for Danielle, my beautiful, amazing girlfriend. And third, I am grateful for the summer weather. The summer weather is here. While the computer was updating, I stepped outside, smelled some fresh air, felt a little sun on my skin, and then it kind of calmed me down. So maybe taking the time to pause and remember what is truly important is always something that is worth doing. So a few things you're grateful for when you get pissed off and frustrated is always probably a good idea. So on to Buddhism and water. My girlfriend and I were actually watching this show last night, and one of the things that they had brought on to the show was this guy was talking about mind and the water and spirituality and stuff like that, and it's really cute. It was off this this show, Love on a Spectrum. I was thinking, I'm like, man, that's a really good point. I think I'd really want to try and talk about that and kind of see what's up with that. And then after looking up some notes and kind of taking some notes on myself and reading some articles and such, I found 5 reasons why I believe within Buddhism, the mind, the body, the soul relates to water, and some of these points that can help maybe just give more analogies or give more stories or give more ideas, give more grounding to how our minds work and what we really want to desire and how we can benefit from that. Tip number 1. So this would be essentially 5 ways for relating water to our mind. First one is impermanence. Impermanence is one of the strongholds, one of the bases, foundational pieces, understanding tools to Buddhism, and the impermanence of the mind. So water is fluid and constantly changing. It's fluid and constantly changing, just like our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings. So continuing to view our mind in the form of water and understanding that it will continuously be changing. So we're not so awestruck like, oh my gosh, how could this happen? Or, oh, I have one computer update at the worst time. This is bull crap. It always happens to me. I always get the short end of the stick. Versus taking time to pause and to understand that these feelings of pain or these feelings, they come and go, just like as you would see water flow. And what are some of the other things that we had in our notes on this one that I liked? And just recognition and acceptance of the transient nature. So Pretty cool. Impermanence, not forever, right? So not going to totally awestruck us and bring us down. So impermanence, water is fluid and constantly changing, just like our thoughts and emotions. On to the next one, clarity and reflection. So when water is undisturbed, you can look into a pond. Say you're looking on top of a pond that is very still. You see a very clear image of yourself when water is clear. It gives a direct reflection of what it is that is true and representative to reality. The mind can do this when it is still, and they use this with forms of meditation to get ourselves to calm down. But if you go look into a pond and you look in the water, there's no current, it's not moving. It's a very, very clear reflection of what it is that you're seeing in yourself, what it is that you're seeing in reality. And the point of that is to show that when the water, say, is disturbed, have you ever seen water that is super choppy? Or if you were, I don't have a cup of water with me. I thought wearing a light blue shirt would be enough for today. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Say you're shaking a cup of water, and then it's pretty hard to see through that. Or think of a boat, a giant object that's coming through and plowing through it. It's hard to see everything shaking and vibrating at such a high rate that is tough to see through it. And that's essentially the same thing as our emotions and our thoughts. When things start to get all shook up, then it's easy to get biased. Then it's easy to fall for indulgences that we want emotionally, not logically. It's easy to fall to the trap of being all caught up in a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. When the water would be agitated, it makes it very, very hard to see the reality of the situation. So clarity and reflection. Adaptability, we need to be adaptable as we continue to grow, change. Say if you want to start a business, say if you want to get in better shape, you want to get healthier, say if you want to improve your relationships, your finances, all the things that we want to do in order to succeed at the goals that we set forth for ourselves. I believe we need to be adaptable. To be adaptive, and that is one of the most beautiful things about water, is that it can take the shape of its container. Water can take the shape of its container. It is adaptable. So asking yourself, how can you be more adaptive? How can you adapt to your situation? How can you adapt to your relationships? How can you adapt to the marketplace and the industry that you're trying to get in and grow and expand in? How can you use and be like water to be more adaptive in what it is that you want to do? On to the next one, purification. So we talk a lot of times they refer to water with like cleansing and purifying the water to get good, healthy water in it. And I think the same goes for purification with the mind. I think we're filled up. I suffer in my imagination so much more than in reality that I need to take the time to purify my mind of the toxins that are going on through my brain. What are the negative thoughts that are causing you suffering for absolutely no reason? Is it something somebody said? Is it the weather that's outside? Is it thinking you're not good enough because you haven't made enough progress towards one of your goals? What could it be? Could be the toxin that needs to be purified out of the water, needs to be purified out of our minds to be able to enjoy ourselves, give ourselves permission to be cleansed, clean, and purified like water would be in its highest sense. There was another thing on here that I really liked that they were talking about. Just as impurities can be removed from water, mental defilements like greed, hatred, ignorance can be gradually purified through spiritual practices. And again, I would relate this purification process to like meditation or using something like that. But another reason why minds or bodies are just like water. I mean, did you know that we are like not 80% water? Or I think it's even higher. It's something insane. I know our brains are like 93% water, which is absolutely insane. It's like, why do you have a headache? Because you're dehydrated. And it's literally the brain being dry and aching, which is kind of weirds me out a little bit, thinking about when I have headaches. It's like, oh, you were hungover and now you have a headache. It's like, yeah, because your brain is literally getting dry, which is wild. But so drink tons and tons of water. Purification. On to our last point for today is flowing and letting go. Life in our minds and our bodies and our souls, flowing and letting go. Water continues to flow. Water flows effortlessly. Where it doesn't cling or hold on to anything. It doesn't cling or hold on to anything. I think everyone has, we've talked about here on the show, some of the stuff I held on to as a kid, some of the stuff we all hold on to. I think everybody has their vice and everybody has that one thing that's probably stopping them from doing what it is that they truly want to do. And I think learning how to let go, or going through the files, kind of looking through everything, or taking the time to reflect in a clear pond so we can have a clear reflection, we can really see what's going on. Hopefully we can start to investigate and understand things that we would be holding on to. If you are not doing something that you want to be doing, you are holding on to something. If you are not doing something that you truly want to do, if you truly want to do it and you are not doing it, that means you are holding on to something. Something is stopping you. And flowing and letting go, and flowing like water and letting go of it. Maybe it could be judgment. If I go and try this new thing, they're going to judge me. They're going to think I'm an idiot. They're not going to think I'm good enough. If I go do this, then I'm going to be bad. It's going to look stupid and it's not going to be good enough. Or it could be just something that you're holding on for yourself. Like you just hate being bad at stuff so bad that you're insecure about how you react to the situation when you don't handle it well, that you have a really hard time of letting go. Again, if you want to do something logically, if you really want to, and then when you go to try and do it and you're not allowing yourself to do it, then chances are we're holding on to something that is keeping us and stopping us from doing what it is that we want to do. Flowing and letting go. The mind, like water, is encouraged to flow freely without clinging to thoughts or grasping onto desires. This letting go helps alleviate suffering and promotes a sense of inner peace. And that's our whole point today. That's why we went over these 5 ways for relating water to our mind. Again, the first one is impermanence. These thoughts, these emotions, and like water, nothing is permanent. Second, clarity and reflection. You look into a clear pond water, you can easily see the reflection. If it's all shook up and agitated, it makes it very, very hard to see, just like when we have bad thoughts and all that stuff. Number 3, adaptability, always being flexible and being able to adapt to the situation. Water takes the shape of its container. Number 4, purification, getting the toxins out of the water, getting the toxins out of our mind to help purify ourselves. And lastly, number 5, flowing and letting go, not holding on to the things that could possibly be holding us back, and being more like water as it flows effortlessly down, say, a mountain, a river stream, a creek, whatever, as it continues to flow with no biases or nothing holding it back per se. Water always finds a way. Water is one of the most beautiful things. And we talked about today how much of our bodies and our minds are made up of water, in the upwards of the 80 percentile. Our brains, our brains are over the 90 percentile of how much our brain is literally made up out of water. So our ability to think clearly and our ability to do these things, to let go, to purify ourselves, to not be held back. I think we can, just by drinking more water and taking the time to pause, to breathe, to reflect, meditation, man, I get it. A lot of people aren't going to consistently do it, but we're going to keep talking about it. And it helps me hold myself accountable to do it. Even if it's a couple minutes a day, we can purify the bad thoughts and keep our peace here to stay, right? So continue to think about these tips, see where you can place them in your own life, how you can try and benefit from them. And we'll be back here with another episode of that Talk to Taryn Morning Show, episode 287, bright and early tomorrow at 8 a.m. I'm really hoping I'm not going to have another update and other things I need to figure out why my camera wasn't working and stuff like that this morning. But more stuff to do. We'll figure it out. We'll be patient with it, and we'll flow, and we'll be like water today. So think of how the challenge for you would be to think of how I can create more clarity so I can be more adaptive, to purify my mind, to flow and let go of the things that do not matter, because we don't have to suffer if we don't want to. Cheers to that, friends. Or it's a different type of suffering, and it's good suffering and good in its own way. Yada, yada. We'll go more into that another day. But for now, thinking of how Buddhism relates to water and how your mind and body relates to water, I hope this was helpful. I know it's helpful for me trying to think and get a little more clarity on it. But you guys have an incredible, incredible day. And in case you needed to hear it today, I love you. Have an awesome day. Cheers to you. It is June 1st. Holy smokes, it's June 1st. Already nearly halfway through the year, folks. What do we want to work on? What do we want to do? So we'll catch you on the next episode. That'll be June 2nd. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. live with another episode of the Talk to Taryn Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, ideas, and exercise to help make you the best version of you. And we're sticking to it all the way to, what episode is this? 286. My God, this was 5 ways to relating water to our mind. Cheers, friends. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early.